Good. Are you ready for the interview? Are we good?
Whenever you guys want to do it.
All right, we can just start now if it's all right with you. I know you're busy. You got a couple more.
I'm good to go.
All right. First and foremost, this is the USW Local 105, our podcast, Steel Revolution, which we stole from, I believe, the idea from somebody that you're doing an interview with sometime today from Canada.
Yeah, I did one out of Cleveland this morning, and that could be who you're talking about. Is that the one you're talking about or not?
No, I think they might be calling you later today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one at 11, so maybe
Yeah,
that's it.
I think that's them. I'm on the bargaining unit. Again, my name's Roy Hutt. Mike Nicholas is in here.
Hey, Chuck, how are you?
How you guys doing? Really appreciate, you guys' support and everything on this matter. And, as you guys well know, it's going to affect a whole hell of a lot more people throughout this country on what's happening here in Indianapolis.
We're just thanking you. I think you're probably one of our biggest guests now that we've had in our short time doing this. So we appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us and at least give our members. I want to give our members a better idea of what happened than what they just see out on Facebook. I thought what would be good is everybody's kind of got a timeline on this. Of course, going off of the video that was posted when the person from management or HR told you guys what was going on, or told the people at Carrier what was going on. So what I wanted to start out with, Chuck, if it's all right, was there anything that happened leading up to that announcement? Did the company come to you guys and ask for concessions or
No.
Nothing really?
If you want me to, Roy, I can try to explain what transpired up to including the Trump situation. But in early February, I think the 9th, I don't have the precise date in front of me, we got a call from our sub-district director, Wayne Dale, and they had called him the night before and wanted him to come over to the plant to talk about some issues. Well, he didn't know what was going on, so he went on over there, and at 10 o'clock, corporate people were there, and they told him, they said, in 20 minutes, we're going to gather up all the people on the plant, we're going to make an announcement, we're moving to Monterrey, Mexico. So we had about 20 minutes heads up. They hadn't indicated in any way, shape, or form that there was some issues that needed to be addressed. So, to be quite honest, we were stunned this was happening. And then some couple months later, we went into decisional bargaining, and we identified about $23 million per year that we could save the company. And their response was, well, your package totals about $23 million. Our annual savings moving to Monterrey, Mexico is $65 million. It's a noble gesture, seeing what you can do to try to save these jobs, but you can't get it done unless all the people, which was about 1,300 plus bargaining members, would all work for $5 an hour, which is below minimum wage, so that can't be done. And they would have zero benefits, no health care, no vacation, no insurance, just no retirement. And so consequently, we were going to go ahead and move to Monterrey, Mexico.
Well, I mean, I can't believe that it was 20 minutes and they didn't do anything up front, and it was 20 minutes. That's
hard
to believe.
Just no, not that it had been easier, but I would have thought that, doing something along these lines, and they had to know about it way the hell in advance, they at least give us a heads up, not 20 minutes prior to the announcement. So, for the most part, we were blindsided, and people wanted answers to what the company had just laid out, and we didn't have answers because we wouldn't afford the opportunity to find out what the hell is going on.
Chuck, this is Mike. Was this as a result? I mean, what was your relationship with your local company prior to this? I mean, did you have a pretty good partnership? Was there a good relationship?
Yeah, pretty good partnership. About 6 years ago in bargaining, they had a proposal for a two-tier wage system, which would reduce the wages of the people hired after the contract went into effect, about $4, $5, $6 an hour. Quite naturally, we fought it off, and it was in their final last best offer. So we take it back to the membership with all the other contractual increases or whatever, that we was able to get. And companies aren't stupid. They know if the contract's pretty good for the people that can vote on it. They might not like it that somebody's hiring in after the contract's going to hire in at a substantial lower wage, but anyway, it was voted in. And so for a number of years, about 6 years, the company saved a whole hell of a lot of money by having people that hired in at a substantial, a lot lower wage. And they got some breaks from the people, and it still wasn't enough. With corporate greed, nothing's ever enough. So there never was no issues on their profitability. There never was any issues on the quality.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a guess here, Chuck, that the company was profitable before, like you said, before that contract. Even after that contract, they increased their money with that 2-tier because it got voted in.
Yeah,
but it still wasn't enough for them, obviously.
You're exactly right. And they, best of my knowledge, and they amalgamated it. The carrier folks in 1998. Now I can verify since 1998 they haven't had any issues of profitability. And my understanding, even prior to that, they were making money. So, not making a profit is one thing, and then just wasn't enough. And at one point in time, the carrier's owned by UTC, United Technology, and the UTC people said, well, it's over regulatory issues. So Senator Joe Donnelly, he got involved, and he tried to get him to narrow it down what regulatory issues they were talking about. Finally, they said, well, it's not really regulatory issues. It's about enhancing the profitability for our shareholders. And so, they finally come clean on that. Now, UTC has got over $5 billion with a B in military contracts with the government. So you're talking about over in excess of $5 billion. The Indianapolis moved to Mexico. The whole plant would have saved the company $65 million. Well, I appreciate everything that President-elect Trump did. He got involved, and there's going to be 730 bargaining unit jobs remain here, and another 70 supervisory jobs are going to remain here. But the bottom line is he had a hell of a good card to play when he could, and whether he's going to admit it or not, he could go to the UTC CEO and say, hey, you got all these millions of dollars in government contracts, and you're saving $65 million on this Indianapolis move to Mexico. You probably better take another look at it. And so, only thing these greedy folks know is money. And so, I think at that point in time, they thought, well, we probably need to do something different. So consequently, they kept some jobs here. But what Trump and Pence did not tell the people in the meeting, they kept on saying 1,100 jobs were going to remain here in Indianapolis. Well, when the company made the announcement that we're going to close the plant down in February, they said that 350 research and development jobs, and that's the company jobs, were going to remain here in Indianapolis. So there never was any question about that. All other jobs were going to Mexico. These 350 were going to remain. Well, then when Trump and Pence come in, and even prior to that, they kept on announcing 1,100 plus jobs were going to stay here in Indianapolis due to their input with UTC. Well, we met with it. We couldn't find out the particulars. They froze us out. About an hour and a half before Trump and Pence come into the meeting with us and the carrier folks, the company gave us a breakdown. They said, well, there's 730 bargaining unit jobs, another 70 supervisory jobs that will remain in Indianapolis. So our question was, well, wait a minute. We keep on hearing 1,100. Well, yeah, counting the research and development jobs. So we said, well, they weren't leaving anyway. Well, no, they weren't. So Trump and Pence came in, and they kept on using this 1,100 figure. People sitting there. At that point in time, I know for a fact that people thought that they was going to have a job. Trump and Pence, or the company, neither one mentioned 550 jobs. We're still going to leave that plant and go to Monterrey, Mexico. They left that completely out. And that's what I call to the attention that, they should have been up front, appreciate what was done on saving the jobs if they were, but they built false hopes up and a lot of folks thinking they was going to have a job, only for the next day for us to tell them, no, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought if he was such a great deal maker, you'd bring out the $5 billion that company's getting from the taxpayers, plus all the work you guys did after the fact, after you knew about it, with $23 million in savings. We're cutting down that 65. Why wouldn't it have been possible for him to keep all the jobs there?
All the jobs.
Yep.
Exactly. And then what happens too is Pence is still the governor of Indiana. He gets $7 million over a 10-year span from the taxpayers in Indiana to ante up to it. And the perception for a lot of folks is that the $7 million over 10 years was instrumental in saving the jobs. Well, that's completely ridiculous. That was just icing on the cake. In order to save 800 jobs, taxpayers in Indiana ended up $7 million over 10 years when we was offering give backs of $23 million per year.
Yeah.
So it had to be, in my opinion, over the military contracts. And, either one of them's going to mention that, but, that would be the card I would have played. I would say, hey, you keep all these jobs here, or you're going to be in jeopardy of losing some of these military contracts. So, that's the way it basically shook out. And he took offense to what I said about his numbers, and I probably maybe went a little bit extreme on that, how I had to do it all over again. I had to do the same thing when I said it was a dog and pony show and he was a liar. And I almost threw up my mouth. That probably pissed him off. And then when I did the CNN interview and I said that, he misled the people, well, he never disputed on any of his tweets that my numbers weren't right. He started attacking me, and hell, that didn't bother me. I've been doing this job for 30 years, and I know what I've been able to do for the people we represent, and him to say I wasn't worth any good, or I didn't do a good job servicing members, that didn't faze me a bit, because I really don't care what his opinion on what I do is, to be quite honest.
Well, that's what we noticed looking at all the tweets and things, especially this morning. We noticed he wasn't disputing your numbers or the facts. He was just he was attacking you personally and anybody that was coming to your aid. So,
yeah, and I appreciate it so much, the response that we've got from all over the country, and in fact, all over the world. In fact, people going to the trouble of either calling us, sending emails, cards, or notes, or whatever. And it's, you get some of the wackos that say things, and it's part of it, I guess. But overwhelmingly, a large portion of the people that sent in, we've got over 2,000 calls, probably well over 2,000 emails, and hundreds and hundreds of cards. And it's been overwhelmingly in support of. So I appreciate that very much.
I know you touched on it here a little bit, Chuck, but what is the overall feeling of your membership about what happened and Trump and everything with the jobs here?
Well, it's a mixed bag. Somewhat. The people of the 730 people we represent, they're extremely grateful and should be. They're going to have a job. A lot of the 550 that aren't going to have a job feel like they've been misled by what he said. They're grateful for other people being able to retain their jobs, but they got their hopes built back up that they might have a job in order to find out they're not. So they're disappointed in that, but and some people, without a doubt, or our members are upset with me because they feel like I attacked President-elect Trump, and they were big Trump fans. So I ruffle some feathers on that, and it is what it is, and I'm not no macho guy anymore. I'm a 65-year-old man, but I could care less. What anybody feels like I did wrong. I felt like I was trying to do the right thing of saying that he misled the people, and it went from there.
All right. I've seen, and I know calling the hall there, that you guys just got finished up with Rex Nord, and was wondering if you could just give us a brief encounter of what went on there. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of jobs, and I bet it's all over, but Indiana's losing a lot of jobs to Mexico and China.
Yeah, Rex Nord is one of our other plants also. It's a plant that I hired in out of high school in 1969. It's been here in this city for over 100 years, not in that particular location, but they manufacture bearings for different agricultural, heavy machinery, conveyors, anything that's got a shaft. Most time is driven by some sort of bearing, whether it be a ball bearing unit or roller bearing or whatever. Once again, very profitable company, probably the number one bearing manufacturer in the country. And when they announced here a month or so ago that they were going to also move to Monterrey, Mexico, it wasn't because of anything. When once again, they followed the carrier pattern. What they did on that particular day was call us up in the morning and said, hey, the lawyer and the plant manager want to meet with you guys at 1 o'clock. So I told people over here, I said, folks, this ain't going to be good. They're going to announce a plant closure. They said, well, I said, no, I don't know. I said, they won't tell us what's going on. So we got over there. They said, we're going to close the plant, move to Monterrey, Mexico, and we're going to announce to the people in a half hour. So it was basically the same type of scenario. They're saving $15.5 million a year by moving that facility to Mexico. So what we've had, or what we got right now, is 800 and some odd people from the two facilities combined, and a lot of them live in pretty much in areas around the plants. The plants are less than a mile apart. There's a big amount of people that live on the west side of Indianapolis. It's going to be devastating stuff to the employees, their families, the communities, the school systems, the fire department, and everything else. And my issue is if a plant wasn't profitable and they came to us and we couldn't help work out the financial problems, and they decided to move to Mexico, wouldn't like it, but halfway understand that wasn't the case. If they weren't making a good quality product, they had quality issues, and they came to us and we couldn't get it worked out, and they decided to move to Mexico, wouldn't like it, but understand that both these plants, because of corporate greed and unfair trade, we're losing people's livelihoods. Now, I've been through about 8 or 10 plant closures, and I don't know, I hope nobody ever has to go through them, but I've been through them, being over here for a number of years. I'll tell you what happens, and people don't want to realize this. These are people, all they want, we're not asking for a handout, we're just want an opportunity to work. When people lose their jobs and they can't find other suitable work, pretty soon their unemployment runs out. Okay, now what do you do then? Well, I can tell you, pretty soon they start losing their automobiles, they're repoed. Pretty soon they get behind enough on their house payments, their house payments are foreclosed, their houses are foreclosed on. And in a lot of instances, spouses leave them. And then at some point in time, they give up all hope and they take their own lives. I've seen too much of it not to think that it's going to happen in these situations. I hope I'm very well wrong and everybody bounces on their feet and they live happily ever after. But in all reality, it's not going to happen because here in Indianapolis, there's not, in carrier situation, there's not a lot of $23 an hour jobs out there. And the Rex Nord average is about $25.50 an hour. So people, might be able to find jobs, but a lot of the jobs they're going to be able to find, they're going to have to work 2 of them. And a lot of the jobs they're going to get, they're going to have to say, you want French fries with that. So, I know that's coming because there's just not a lot of jobs out there that people are going to be able to land in. we'll help them out all we can with everything. The city will, the state will, the federal government, but it's not going to be enough in order to these people to be able to bounce back and go on with their lives in any way, shape, or form that they currently have now.
Absolutely. Well,
so, people say, well, you sound better. Yeah, I'm better. To see what's happening when all we're asking for is opportunity to work and it's been ripped away from us. So, yeah, I'm real better over this. And Bernie Sanders has offered up some legislation, and it's good legislation on different things that would discourage these companies from taking jobs overseas, and then if they do, different 35% tariffs on the way back. But it's not going to pass. And if Donald Trump is sincere about keeping these jobs in this country, and he most certainly has indicated that numerous times, that's always been our goal. Even though he got sideways with me, I would welcome the opportunity for him to get involved and see what we can do for the 550 at Carrier and the 300 at Rexnord, what we can do to save these jobs. And I don't expect to hear nothing from him, but, on the same token, we're reaching out to the news media to make that offer available if he so desires.
Yeah, no, he brought that up in the campaign about tariffs and taxing people, or taxing corporations, taxing their stuff coming back, but it doesn't seem like he's interested in that, just more corporate welfare from the deal here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and, it's just a sad situation. And, sometimes people say, how them greedy ass, union workers. Well, I want people to realize, whether they like unions or not, that's a debate for another day, that these are people that live in the community. They're just, for the most part, ordinary people that, live in the community, and they're your baseball coaches, and they're your scout leaders, and they're your taxpayers that now are going to have their lives disrupted in a tragic way. I mean, what's more, not in any particular order, in a lot of people's lives, it's their family, their health, religion, and their jobs, they're losing that opportunity to have a job in order to provide for their family.
Yeah, I mean, most certainly. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, you have to have your job so you can have a life. So if you take away your job, you like you said, the path that some people end up on. I mean, it pretty much takes your life.
Yes. Hey, I mean, the young people, both facilities, we're encouraging everybody to take advantage of any opportunity they got through the federal money on the TAA and everything else. Go back to school, maybe get an education, get into another field. Some people will do that. You take a person, and the age group I use is around 40 to 55. They're too young to retire, and some instances too old to be retrained or rehired. And so them's the people that really feel the brunt of it.
Yeah, but Chuck, if there's anything else that you wanna talk about, I mean, we're not pressed on time, but I know you got your other interviews, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, if you got anything else,
not really. I just want to thank you guys. The media has been real fair to us for the most part, and appreciate you guys doing what you're doing to help get the message out of what's happening in this country. And we might not win the battle. We're not giving up the fight, with the help of the International President Leo Gerard and his staff in Pittsburgh, and Director Mike Millsap here in Indiana and Illinois, and our staff here in Indianapolis. We're not giving up the fight by no means. We might not win the fight, but we're going to stay in the fight as long as it takes. And if we're not successful, well, hopefully we've got the word out of what's happening, and people will start realizing some things got to change, and the laws got to change to give us a level playing field.
Well, Chuck, we'd like to thank you, too, for standing up and fighting back and fighting for all the working class people. It's been a pleasure of ours to talk to you today, too.
I want to thank you guys very much. I sure appreciate it. And anytime you want to talk, I'll make myself available.
Yeah, I mean, of course, thanks to you, your membership that took that video, that, true
Yes,
praise.
yes.
I don't think, we'd be here talking about it if they didn't videotape that and it got on Facebook. I don't think we'd be here.
No, and it wouldn't went anywhere if that young lady hadn't took that video. You're exactly right. I thanked her numerous times for what she did, and in order to get that word out, of what was happening. So yeah, without that, it wouldn't be like it is now.
Yeah, like again, thank you, thanks to all your membership. I forgot where I was going.
Nah, we look forward to talking to you again, Chuck. We really do appreciate it. So
Yeah, keep
Thank
up.
you very much, guys.
Keep
you
up.
You
Keep
guys
up.
have a wonderful holiday.
you
Yeah,
too.
You too, Chuck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
That went better than I thought.
remember where I was going.